clears the throat. You got to clear that throat chakra, guys. You got to clear that throat chakra. It's a brand new day, brand new week, brand new pod. And we got some things to get off of our chest, but we got to clear that throat chakra first. Okay. But before we do that, welcome to a brand new episode of this amazing award-winning. Yes, we talking it in advance, okay, guys. You know me. I love to manifest. But
Period.
yeah. The one and only Reasonable Dialogue podcast, episode 14 with my sisters. Okay, and we have a very, very, very special guest that we're going to introduce to you guys. But before we get into it, I go by the name of DJ Miss Milan.
It's your girl, Jan Smee.
And it's your girl, Jazz. We are here. We are in the condo. And not only are we in the condo as girls, but we got another girl up in here. Let me just say this because, oftentimes in life we talk about giving flowers and giving roses and just really showing love to those unsung heroes. When I think about my time at Universal Music Group and my time in some of these spaces, I immediately think about the people that not only champion me, but the people that are literally championing so many creative art projects out here that you guys wouldn't even know. And I just think it's time to really give them their flowers. I want to shout out Erica Hammonds, director of catalog for Def Jam. That's not only an unsung gem, but it's because of her that I was able to really get some of the projects and ideas off at Universal Music Group that led me to the wonderful Michelle here. Michelle My Belle, that is what I call her. Strategic partnership marker, college director, mama bear at Universal Music Group, literally running with the torch for street marketing at UMG, the belle of the ball. She does not, I'm telling you, she does not leave a room untouched. It has been an honor watching how so many college students look up to you, Michelle, through your time at Universal Music Group. It has been an honor growing with you in friendship and watching you bask in love and become the wife that you are today. Without further ado, Michelle Miller.
Hey, wow. What an amazing intro, Jess. Honestly, could literally not have done it better myself. That was amazing.
That girl is good. That girl is good.
That girl is good, man. I'm like, she came ready with it. I love that. Yo, I'm excited.
I had to. And it brings tears to my eyes because, last night really for me was all about like friendship. And I thought of you, our homie Mike Nasty DJ'd. And what people don't know is like, one of the first times out with Michelle and her husband, we went out to see Mike DJ.
Yeah, for real.
So I literally like thought of you and like, man, like I just love how you have literally like blossomed into everything you like were telling me about a year ago, and it's only going up. So welcome to the condo, sis. Welcome to the condo.
Thank you. Let me kick my shoes off.
Yes, girl. Okay, you see, I like how she's so respectful because most people they don't want to take their shoes off. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
love that. Thank you. Thank you. One question though, we got to definitely ask you for sure. What is one item that you have that you bought for us at the condo?
I really gotta come with some snacks. Like, not gonna catch me anywhere without a snack, especially since becoming a mother. Like, that's my excuse to have snacks literally anywhere and everywhere.
Listen, I love stealing the baby snacks. I'm not gonna hold you.
I'm like, these are our fruit snacks.
Okay, don't invite me to your house. I will be in that cupboard taking them fruit snacks. Okay.
Okay. Or have me at your job, your offices, because I'm taking all the snacks in corporate America. Okay. I need the Teddy Grahams. I need the Cheez-Its.
It's reparations in my eyes, to be honest with you. We can collect them back. But yes. How have you ladies been? You know what I'm saying? We're back again another week. Jazz, my good sister, Jan, and of course, Michelle. We want to know exactly how has the week been for you ladies?
I can honestly say this has been a week of surrendering. I think the theme for me this week has been surrendering. There's a lot of changes going on, beautiful changes, but I think this week spoke to surrendering, and this weekend just really spoke to like like celebration, love, and friendship. Like I really had a ball last night, guys. Like, and I'm up here with y'all today in the condo. Feet kicked up. I got on my what they call that? Like I got on my little cute gel under eye things because we got to keep the puffiness down after a night
Right.
out. So I definitely got that on, but I think the theme for me was just surrendering. I have to surrender in everything. I have to surrender in friendship. I have to surrender in work. I have to surrender in love because ultimately,
Mhm.
like what's for me is gonna come for me. And I don't have to chase anything. It's all gonna be attracted, through good intentions and leading with my heart and showing up courageous. So that's something that I took away in therapy, just like showing up courageous, and it's something that I've really been trying to do, even when I'm like a little nervous, even when I'm nervous or, I'm trying to stay kind or sweet and someone's like trying to, it's like, no, I can still stay courageous in myself. But this weekend was so fun. Like, I don't know. I had a blast last night, y'all. And I didn't even I keep saying like how this summer I didn't really like get to go anywhere, go to no trips. I didn't get to visit my family in Jamaica like I usually do because I've just been so work focused, kind of like what's that Nipsey saying, y'all? Like just sometimes you gotta keep your head down, get ugly for a little bit, like stay focused.
Mhm.
So that was really my summer, but it didn't take away the beauty of my summer though. Like I can honestly say this was one of the best summers I've had. And I think it was because I was just like surrendering and going with the flow and the people that I had around me. I was very intentional about my space like this summer and just moving forward. So yeah, I want to shout out all my friends because last night was an epic time. It felt like a reunion, and I think we just need more of that. It's a great recharge, it's a great battery. 'Cause I was thinking about it in the car like last night, like man, I gotta be up in the condo, but it's okay because this is what life is about. Like
You woke up like that meme, the little dolly that got her hair messed up, but we know why. She
Yes.
had a different kind of fun, but you had fun, okay? The girls' weekend. Cheers to the girls' weekend. Shout out to Nene Leaks, okay? I would say for me, my week so far, honestly, like it's been, I'm gonna say the same thing with you, Jazz. Peaceful, surrendering. I'm in a space of taking a break before we have to go back on the road and get right back to it. I realized that the later months of the year, I'm literally booked and busy. I have no time at all, but I'm appreciating those slow down moments because you really get to be intentional and lock in. I had an amazing day yesterday to myself. I did hot yoga. I was literally like in my word in the morning. I took a nice walk. After that, I went to this gym by my house called Lifetime with my homegirl Crystal. We literally had some good ass Atlanta lemon pepper chicken wings, okay. And then I went to the hot tub, and it was just one of those days where it was like, these are like the very simple things, but they mean so much, especially when you get to spend time with people that you truly and honestly love and care about, and get to just slow down and be in the moment, especially us being in the industry. It's fast paced. There's really no days off. When the industry shuts down, we're like, okay, thank God. But
Facts.
at the same time, at the same time, it's like when you can have that slow down moment to just be intentional, touch literal grass. Like when people say touch grass, I mean, it's literally, but it's also very much so meaningful. Like to just slow down, be present, see the trees as you're in the car one by one instead of seeing them just pass by. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm enjoying life right now. I'm just being intentional about the time that I had, the person that I am. And I had a really, really good, soft week. Us being women in the industry, we always got to be either on guard or aggressive, like a pit bull in a skirt sometimes. So it feels good when you don't have to, what I'm saying, be rah rah and just be like, hey, it's okay. I'm not even mad at you. I'm gonna just let you have that because I'm at peace. So that was my week. I had a really peaceful, calm week. So I was on the same frequency as you, Jazz. Had a good time, but we were surrendering.
I love that so much because the body is tea, okay? Like,
Listen. I told y'all, Yon literally inspired me to get my ass back in the gym. I
I
said my sis
love
was in the
that.
gym. I was like, listen, health is well, but also I always think about like community And the fact that, I consider you all literally like friends, don't even have a word anymore. Like y'all my sisters at this point in time. So I love to be inspired and around other women that are on their shit too, because it makes it inspiring for me to also be on my shit. Like y'all in the gym, y'all landing deals, y'all doing this, y'all doing that. And it's really a beautiful thing when you can look at somebody and be inspired versus finding some envy. Sometimes I feel like when I'm doing things, like not to shade anybody, but it could come a little shady sometimes instead of inspirational. And it's like, baby, I'm just here to be inspiring. But if you intimidated, that's a you problem. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I have sisters that I could look up to and be inspired by and say, you know what? I've been a little lazy. Let me get my ass in the gym, because y'all is sitting there looking good, pumping our iron. Like, I see you, sis. The hair is flowing, the skin is glowing. These niggas know what's up.
Hey, kid girl. Ironically, though, that's kind of like what my week has been. I would say like the last 2 weeks. It's been this theme of choosing myself, which is kind of ironic that this topic that we're doing today is boundaries, because I feel like that's always been something that I've really struggled with in the past, is boundaries and choosing me and opening my throat chakra and just saying what I have to say and not necessarily thinking about how this is only affecting the other person. Because it's like, I feel like a lot of the times I am disregarding how certain things impact me, trying to be a people pleaser. And, like, this is something we talked about various times on this podcast, where it's just like this constant learning curve for me, where it's just like, you have to pick you. Like, when everything is said and done, all you got is you. So you can't keep putting everybody before you in every single situation. So like this entire week, this weekend has just been a whole lot of like finding ways to pick me, whether that be I'm telling you about yourself if it affects me negatively, or if it's me going to the gym every day, because if I don't like how I look, I can't just sit in the crib, like I got to fix that. I got to choose me. Like if you're really choosing yourself, you got to do all the things that make sense for you so that you feel best. You look your best. You walk in a space and you don't feel like, damn, I don't really like how I look, or I don't really feel confident saying that thing because I'm just not the most, like I don't feel like I look my best. I don't feel my best. And it's just like I've been really trying to really choose me in all ways. I think the other thing too, a big thing for me has been discipline. I think the eating habits, like I don't necessarily have bad eating habits, but I don't necessarily eat the healthiest. But I also, like, I'm learning that if you want to look the best on top of being in the gym all the time, you also have to kind of eat cleaner and, just be super on top of everything that is discipline to me. Because I really want to get to a space where I feel like, I think we also talked about this last week, where it's like discipline essentially kind of sets the tone for your life, and your life is reflective of the discipline you do or do not have. So that's been a thing for me. It was a thing for me last week. It was a thing for this week too.
I love that.
I love that, girl.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
That's
I appreciate
real. That's
that.
honestly real shit.
What about you, Michelle? How was your week?
Listen, oh man, I'm literally listening to y'all. I'm like, wow, I am so happy for them. I really cannot wait for the day that I can get to feeling like that, or feeling like I feel recently, I don't know. I think I've just been feeling a little bit less grounded. I definitely feel like work has a lot to do with that. It is, for anybody that works, obviously, in music that's listening to this, like, tour season, that fall season when everything kind of hits at once.
Yep.
And then on top of that, there's been so many changes on our team recently that also all happened at once. And, when you're put in a leadership position, you can't just like shy away. You know what I mean? Like you can't just like go duck off and be like, all right, somebody else gonna handle this, because nobody else is gonna handle this. Like you can handle it. And when you're overseeing other people and, they're looking to you for guidance, being a good manager, and I definitely take that very seriously, because, there were so many people before me, the people that brought me up, the people that gave me my first opportunities, like they were such great leaders, and they were all women. They were amazing. And I always look back on them and think about the shit that they had to deal with and how they handled it. And I never felt that shit because they handled it so well. Like they did everything to protect me, my view of the industry, my, excitement about it. I'm so thankful for that shit. But now I'm like, damn, that's me. Like, it's my turn to do that shit now. I'm like, and that shit is hard. I'm like, I am firsthand now seeing what they did, and they just never exposed me to the ugly side of that shit. And now I'm like,
Yes.
oh, okay, this is real. Like, we in it. We're doing this. I gotta stand in the gap and, like, just make it do what it do. So I know it's temporary. I know it's like just a blip, just a little period of time that will pass. But right now it's just a little tough. I definitely need to set aside some time for myself in the future, very, very soon. Um, Mom guilt, that always kicks in, especially when you work in the industry. You work all these crazy hours and shit. I tell people all the time, like, I be running home trying to, like, put my child to sleep. Like, that's really me running through Penn Station, trying to, they're like, who is this crazy lady? I'm like, I'm just trying to make it home by 8 o'clock. Like,
She's a mother.
literally every day in my head, I'm like, she's a mother, no drama. For real. Hello. I'm like, y'all need to leave me alone. Like, I'm just trying to put a child to sleep. Like, but yeah, so a little bit of a bumpy one, but I foresee it getting better. I'm glad we're talking about boundaries, because that's definitely something that I've had to learn how to do and put in place, because if you don't do it, no one else is going to do it for you.
They won't. And I could just say, Michelle, like, I'm hearing you talk and say these things. I'm just like my heart is like lighting up, because I'm like, I need the people to understand that when it comes to you said something earlier about, like, having women that have been a shield for you. Shout out to Charlene Thomas. Want to shout her out too, because she is
Yes.
someone else that has also been in that lane. SVP of Def Jam, Republic Corps. She's the reason why 3 6 Mafia even has an Oscar. I can keep going. But I say all that to say is just like, you literally, like, I don't think you understand how much I even learned from you during that time at Universal Music Group. My 5 years there, that last year with us, like, I literally take into every field I'm at, whether if it's an agency with this client, that client, Sprite, whoever, I literally keep some of your tactics in my head on how to maneuver the room in terms of a way where you are still keeping those boundaries, right? Because to your point, like you said, we're in leadership positions where it's like, no, we have to do it because no one else is going to do it, you
Yeah.
know? So I think you sometimes underestimate how brilliant you are at doing that shit, because you are literally a genius at it. Honestly, like, literally, like, I've seen it and I'm just like, oh my God, like, she know how to slice and dice through this corporate metric and get people on God and make sure our people are set up. Like, I just love it. Because it's one of those things where, we were debating about it last night. It's like, you got to be in the room to understand it. You can have so many different perspectives. Are they doing this, they doing that? Unless if you ain't in that room to
Literally.
really understand the chess plays, the metrics, the egos. It's,
Mhm.
oh, baby.
Personalities. No, thank you for saying that, sis. I really appreciate that. Definitely needed to hear that. But it really was. Like, I tell people all the time, like, the majority of the shit that I learned, like, how to be a leader and how to manage and how to maneuver and shit, especially in music where people have so many different personalities, was when I was an assistant. I literally just asked my boss to listen into all her meetings and all her calls. Like, I swear to God, I would literally just sit in her room and just listen to how she talked to people. And she was so good at it, like, maneuvering and kind of flipping back and forth. She was also a fellow Gemini like me. I was like, yes, we could do this. I'm like, we could be a chameleon. I'm like, it was everything. Like, just to sit back and learn how to do that shit. It really wasn't easy, but being in the room definitely helped.
I love that
Yeah.
you say that, because I was having a conversation with my homeboy. He's a manager, artist manager for a hip hop artist, and he runs a label, his own label, and he was talking about how this newer generation of music professionals coming up, they don't understand the value of their presence
Oh,
and
God.
showing up. You get what I'm saying? And just like learning from people. Everything is just like, oh, no, that's not my job. Like, it's not your job, maybe, but you don't think this is valuable to learn this stuff? Because don't you want to move up in this company?
Right.
So
Mhm.
I love that you said that, because it's I feel like that's becoming a lost art, just having an appreciation for the other people in this space that you could learn from and putting yourself in position to learn from them so that you can grow into those roles as well.
Being a true apprentice, honestly. Like,
Right.
you're supposed to absorb everything, even if you have to mop a floor. realize that the mopping of the floor helps you to also learn a skill that you may not even know. And it may be the littlest things like that. So I definitely understand those points very much so. And I think it's just this new age of people who want the instant gratification without putting in the work first. And that's a thing we see throughout the entire industry now. You know what I'm saying? So it's really unfortunate, but I'm glad that women like yourself are able to still uphold that and be like, no, I need to sit in the room. I need to absorb everything because there's nothing that you can't take that won't apply to whatever the trajectory of your career will be. You know what I'm saying? Like me being a DJ, there's just certain things that I look back and say, damn, I'm glad that I did that because it helped me to even become a better entrepreneur, businesswoman, being a better DJ, et cetera, et cetera. So I definitely agree with all of what you're saying.
Yeah, and to that point too, Milan, about the janitor and doing the work. I also think it's important for this generation to not only know, but to act on treating the janitor and the CEO the same. Come on. I don't know what household y'all came from, but you treat
Oh,
them the same.
I'm big on that. Everybody gets
You
like
know?
whenever I walk in a building, I say hello to security, I say hello to catering, I say hello
Same.
to the CEO. Like honest, I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like the big boss is the last person that I say hello to because it's
Come
really the
on.
little people that are making the big boss look good. So I'm gonna always show us the underdogs, you know what I'm saying? Because even in my position, it will be considered quote unquote me being the underdog under the artist and everything that goes on. But it's like, no, I shake all hands. Everyone gets the same level of respect, to be honest. So I feel that. We shaking janitor's hands over here. How you doing, sir? You good? You need something? I literally do that. Like, even security, I'd be like, hey, y'all need some water? Yeah, y'all need something? Y'all good? Like you need give me
Yes.
something from
Yes.
catering? Like I got you. Because people
Yes.
really overlook those
catering.
small roles. No, for
No,
real.
seriously.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's real. Even last night, like it was a moment where, because like I like to dance. When I go out, I like to dance, and sometimes the girlies like to dance with me.
Mhm.
I can't help it, but it was a moment. It was a moment last night where Shorty was dancing. I grabbed her hand because I get lit, I get in a little vibe, and she took it as like, oh, she's bringing me up on stage. So like, she tried to go on stage. Security was like, no, like, what are you doing? Blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh, I'm like, I'm sorry, baby girl, but like maybe like 30 minutes after that. Once we'd vibe it, I literally pulled security to the side and I was like, you know what? My apologies for that afterwards because I know you're having a hard night. That was not meant. And I like dapped him up, just gave him like a fist bump, and he smiled so hard after that. But it's like little things like that where it's just like you don't know what night he was having. He's already dealing with
Right.
entitled, drunk, crazy people. Like, the least you could do is just like show, yo, I respect your position. I respect you. You're a young black man in this space, making sure we all, don't go down for anything. And you know all the exits. So yeah.
I know all the exits. Like, nigga, that's your job. I got qualms with certain security. I do respect security. You don't get it twisted, but the ones that do too much, I have to check you a little bit. Like, hello, relax. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, you got it. Nah.
No, for real. But I mean, I work with so many students and so many young people. I mean, y'all are right. Like, it definitely has changed. Like, a lot of stuff has changed. I feel like
Yeah.
when I was coming up, I was in undergrad 2012 to 2016. And when I had my first internships, like, yo, I was getting on the train. I was paying for, my own tickets. I was getting like a travel reimbursement. That was it. Like, but I really I wanted the experience. And while I'm so happy that the kids are getting paid, do not get me wrong. Like, I was like, I am so thankful that we have come to that place where like they are getting paid to do the work. But it is that instant gratification, or also like that disingenuous networking culture.
Yes.
Transactions.
Oh man, it's so like, and you could
It's
just
nasty.
tell when it's transactional, yo. I be like, dang, like this person literally is just talking to me for an opportunity. Like that's
Yes.
what I'm looking for right now, and that really bugs me, yo. I talked to a girl, and she was a sophomore in college, and she told me, yeah, and like I'm a chronic networker. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. You're a sophomore in college. The fuck? I was not a no damn chronic networker. I was trying to have fun. Oh, I was having a
Mm.
time. But I'm like, this is what it's come to for them now. And
Yep.
that's actually really sad. Well,
But you know
well,
what?
they
I
gotta
feel like they don't have finesse.
no.
Like, let's
Mm.
be real. We come from a culture where we knew how to finesse our way. We knew how to talk to people. We
Yes.
knew how to come around and
Yes.
be around.
Yeah.
Like these kids, they don't even know how to finesse. They just show it all on their sleeve that they just want an opportunity, and that's great. Shoot your shot, but I always believe there's a way in how you do it. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, don't just want a mentor just so you can receive free advice. Like you have to also be as valuable to your mentor as your mentor is supposed to be valuable to you.
But I
And I
see the
don't think the
problem, I
kids do
think
that.
they don't, it's not even necessarily their fault per se, because you think about the difference in society now versus when we was coming up. A lot of these kids coming up, and some young adults who, like, I would say all the way up to like 25, 26, they don't have the social skills to
They
even know
don't.
how to finesse those kind of conversations. Like
You're
they grew up
right.
on social media.
That's it right there. That's
Yeah.
it. Yep. They don't have the social skills. They don't have
Mhm.
not only that too young, it's like they don't have the social skills and they lack the experience that I feel like we had early on. Some of these experiences aren't there anymore. Like Vashti, when I was working under Vashti, I was just happy because she was somebody I looked up to under the MySpace, like umbrella when I was coming up. I didn't care if I was getting paid or not. I was just happy, you know what I'm saying? But like not having that, I guess you could say, immediate, like instant gratification of like a payment, but being able to curate different opportunities and pitch them and have it go like live and be able to have like that type of like support outside of the money. It was like that's the value I was looking at. That's what I learned from. I learned from that, being able to go to, what is it, like cinematic? I think that's where Vashti was at the time, like Cinematic Music Group. Being able to step in that room, at like 19, 20 years old, it was like that is something that I feel like Gen Z is, and a little bit of like young millennials like don't have. Like kind of what we were saying with the street marketing. Like they don't come from that like era. Everything is like digital, digital,
Being
digital, digital.
outside. Get your ass
Yeah.
outside. Touch that grass. You really got to touch the people outside. It's not only on the internet. We've
Yeah,
been
like I
seeing
had
that.
to touch Vashti. Like I didn't just like, it wasn't just an internet thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was outside. Even when I was coming up and when I would see Milan almost like 10 years ago, it was always outside. Like I'm always like,
That's the only way I could get gigs. Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? I could never be online talking about I want to DJ. It's like, no, girl, go outside, see who's playing, see what the atmosphere is, who you got to network with, who's the promoters, who's the one that's really throwing the parties, getting good with them, figure out, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally outside culture is something that I feel, especially during the pandemic, we seen a complete shift in that where everyone lost true and honest social skills, or they just wasn't necessarily taught them, to be completely honest. So we do have a lot of knuckleheads running around here, and I do agree, like, because I was gonna ask y'all, like, as I never really interned anything, to be honest with you,
Me either.
but as those that have, there's always been a discussion about interns now having the incentive of pay versus the old school interns where you literally had to just be grateful for the position. And we know that it does change a little bit, but I often think about where would anyone who did intern in a time where it built the people that we have now today, what if there was payment then? Because I mean, let's be real, them niggas could have paid. They could have paid. They could have paid. But do you think there would have been a difference in how you operate now if you were to get paid versus what we see with the whole, intern payment situation? Because I'm gonna be real. If you are doing something, there should be some form of compensation, especially in the economy that we are in. Like growing up, the early 20s, I mean, shit, we had fun being broke. I'm not gonna lie. I think those were the best moments. You had no money, but you made a way. But how do you all feel? Like, do you think you would have been different if you would have received any form of compensation as you were interning or climbing the ladder than what you are now?
Michelle, you go.
I honestly feel like, I mean, potentially, yes. I do feel like it does become like we were talking about, just them seeing things as transactional. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here because I'm here, I'm getting my check. I give you the effort that I give you because I'm getting this check. Like, if I'm not getting this check, am I going to give you the same effort? Am I going to show up like I am now? I don't really know if they would. For us, I do feel like it was just a totally different mindset in general. I feel like if they would have thrown us even minimum wage back then, we would have been happy. Now,
Yeah.
the ceiling has raised so much where they're like, oh, it's just minimum wage. Like, I've heard crazy conversations. I've heard conversations of like, and I do a lot of my own recruiting, on all of our own recruiting actually. So I talk to students all the time, and I've talked to students who have gone on to interview for, entry level positions, and the stuff that they feel like they should be offered is crazy sometimes. I'm like, so you were in a first round interview and you asked them if they were going to pay for your travel relocation? I was like, what? I was like, oh, and you are wondering why you did not get the job? I feel like we know why you did not get the job, because the fun.
Can I offer a not necessarily contradicting, but I also think, like, to some degree, a very small degree, I almost appreciate the audacity, because it's like, I wonder where some of us
Yeah.
who are a little bit more far longer in our career, like, where
Mhm.
are we now with that kind of audacity? Because some
That's
of us don't,
real.
like, some
No,
of us don't
that
have
is
it.
real. That's
Yeah.
real. That's
It's
real.
like, damn,
No,
I
I
wonder
do
where I would be
feel you.
now if I move like that, because I actually have the
Right.
experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I feel
No,
like I
that's
had to
real.
learn to ask for
Right.
what I felt like I deserved. You know what I mean? They're really coming out the gate with that shit. Like, they were like, this is me. Like, this is what I bring to the table. Like, are you going to pay for me to move to LA if you really want me to be in LA? Like, you going to pay for me to move to LA?
No, for real. For real. They really are, Michelle. You so right. That's
But
really how they come in.
that's that generation, and I really do, I do love it to a certain degree. Like, that's
Yes.
like advocating for yourself, setting boundaries for yourself. They have that shit down pack. But
Yeah, they do.
like, we cannot lose just the work ethic, not being entitled. Like, there are just
Mhm.
certain things that I don't want to see go along with that. You know what I mean? I feel like there has to be a balance somewhere.
No, seriously. And to answer Milan's questions too, because that word entitlement was being brought up around that time too, when we were interning, Michelle. Like, I want to feel like that 2012 to like 2018 era. And I really fought hard against millennials being called entitled, because at the time, millennials, we was trying to get master's degrees and every other thing just to be seen in the job market around that time. So for me, it was like, how are you gonna call me entitled when I'm literally busting my ass, got 4 unpaid internships just to be here, and I'm getting college credit? Who's really entitled? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was that conversation going along too around the early 2010s, that I feel like now some Gen Z is actually starting to exude. Like, I've seen Gen Z like have entitlement. And again, I'm not trying to generalize, because it's everybody, not everybody, but the world, there's entitlement within the world. But I do feel like Gen Z brings a unique level of entitlement that I haven't really seen before. And again, I think it goes back to what Jan was saying, is like that. It's some audacity that plays into it a little bit. Because when I think about, Milan, your original question, and it's like, would you have be the same? Honestly, I think I wouldn't be as hungry. I think if I would have went through all those 4 paid internships, because some of them gave me college credit. That's the thing. That's what some of these corporate jobs will do, so they don't get no fine or nothing. That's how they was able to work around the labor laws. That's how they able to do it. If I can give you college credit, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way some of these internships restructured it as well. But I don't think I would have been as hungry. And I don't think I would have even been running into like you, Milan, or Jan, if I would have been getting paid through all that, because it was the hunger and
Right.
the want to, go after more, because I wasn't getting it in another way. I was getting compensated in other ways. Don't get me wrong. Like, oh yeah, you can go to this show, free food, you'll travel, blah, blah, blah. But like, I ain't have a nigga like say, hey, Jazz, I know you did that. Boom, here's 20% on the side. Nobody ever did that for me.
Right. I was surviving off of exposure coins. You feel me?
Yeah. That, yeah.
Yes.
So we was cashing them checks, and guess what? The checks did not bounce. I will say that. They did not, because we are here thriving in what we love to do. But no, I agree. Passion, to me, it seems like it becomes a little bit of a lost art, to be passionate about things, because the incentive and the, unfortunate capitalism and things of that nature, and survival. Let's be honest. Sometimes survival causes you to lose passion. You feel like hey, I can't do this thing because I have to survive. So it's a lot of different layers to it, but I am very glad to have come up in a time, in an era where you had to be a go-getter in order to go and get it. And we are the results of that on this podcast. Hello.
Do want to add though, like I love that you added the survival thing in the conversation, because I think for me, as a person who didn't do internships, it's a little bit of a different combo for me. Like I feel like a lot of the reasons why I didn't was because I literally could not afford to be working for free. So from that lens, it's like if they offered a bit of a payment, I think it would have kind of enticed me to want to do an internship, and I would be further along in my career now because I would have had those relationships from doing the internships. Or even just the experience. Like everything I had to do to get to where I'm at now was very independent and just figuring shit out myself, because I didn't know how to make that make sense and not be paid for it. Because like everything I had to pay, like I had to pay for college myself, I had to pay for my car note myself, all of this on like a restaurant job payment. And I don't even call it a salary. So it was just like I really could not afford to pay for all of that and then rent and then be doing an internship for free. So I think for me personally, I don't know if it necessarily would have made me have like this level of entitlement or a lack of passion. Like if anything, it probably would have just made me appreciate the experience more, because it's like, wow, I'm being valued here. Like I can afford to do the shit that I got to do and handle at home and also do this internship. But it's like at the same time, I really couldn't know, right? Because that wasn't my situation. But I feel like for some people, we need that pay. Like I couldn't do no internship for free.
I feel that. That's a reality though. That's definitely a reality for some people that literally, like I said, you're surviving. So it's either take this internship that's not paying, that could potentially get me to another spot. But I will say, Jan, the other side to that is you have to have that hustle in you. Like, although you didn't take the internship, you still had to create your own internship by doing what you're doing. And you did it for yourself and created your own personal ecosystem of networking and people that, you know what I'm saying, you could seek and work with, et cetera, et cetera. So there is that other side. Although you didn't do an internship, I still think you did a great job to get where you are. And it's your passion that led you. And like I said, sometimes the passion, it gets lost. You know what I'm saying? So you got to just keep the passion. Lead with passion and love always, y'all.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you,
that's beautiful.
sis.
Because to that point, I do think not only has Jan created so many dope opportunities for herself, even when I think about some of my most memorable internship experiences, even for anybody like listening out there, like, man, don't be afraid to create that internship yourself. Like I had a mentor, I didn't know if I would be able to come back. I literally wrote him a script and was like, yo, I moved to New York this summer. This is how I pay for it. Just hire me. And he was like, okay. Like, and I literally, by the grace of God, went to a church. They gave me like $1,500 for that summer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how I was able to take care of myself for like a little bit, just a little, like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a lot, but to Jan's point, is like, sometimes you just got to create the shit yourself. Like, and if anybody's out there listening, it can take away from myself, Milan, Jan, Michelle, like if the opportunity ain't there, like build it. And
You
then
gotta
it'll
create
come.
that table. Hello. Yep. I love
Black
that.
girls,
I love that. And speaking of creating their own tables, okay, we definitely have to give a shout out to a Brooklyn Knight. You know what I'm saying? He went from Marcy Projects to the big leagues. You know, Jay-Z officially becomes the world's richest musician at a net worth of $2.5 billion. Okay, in the words of Jigga Man, I mean, hello, what's better than 1 billionaire? Two.
Okay. I'm holding up the rock right now. They can't see me holding up the rock.
not the voice.
Yes. That's in recent news, as we touching on some recent topics that definitely have dropped here on the condo. Yeah. So I mean, listen, listen, I have my qualms about billionaires. I don't really feel in this economy, especially, nobody should be a billionaire because what does that entail? But I'm never gonna be a hater if you do become a billionaire because it's like, damn, what if I become a billionaire? You know what I'm saying? Like, but no, sincerely though, congratulations to Jigga Man. I think any black person, of course, and person of color who comes from where they come from, to be in the leagues of what Jay-Z himself has created, I think is a milestone. He's also created opportunities for different, people along the way. I mean, if we ever saw the Rockefeller tapes, you know what I'm saying? We talk about internships and things of that nature, street teams and all that good shit. Like, Jay-Z and the whole, you know what I'm saying, was one of those pioneers as well when it came to assistant in that. So congratulations to Jigga Man on being a billionaire, him and Beyonce.
And I am very much too, to Milan's point, I am very much too a product of that. 2 years later, I feel way better about being vocal about it. But some of y'all know, like, I started at Rock Nation after Vashti, after Hot 97. Rock Nation gave me an internship, and like,
I love that. That's alignment. That's fire alignment.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they don't really, and I get it, because again, we all know you got to be in those rooms and see it. But when they say, like, Hov does so much for the community that people, it will go unspoken, like, that's real. Rock Nation brought me back twice. I created another internship for them after my first internship and was like, yo, I'll do this. Let me try this in that department. So when we think about legacy, I always have just the utmost, love for rock. And I really appreciate, Milan, you saying how much Hove does, because it really does go unnoticed. And again, we're not kissing ass or anything like that. I'm not saying like, he's like a fucking God or savior. He is Hove though. Okay, he is Hove.
He not gonna beat my ass. I'm gonna just say that. I ain't scared. He ain't gonna beat my ass. Okay.
Yeah, but nah, shout out to that. Just because we're on the subject of internship, things like that, and like, yeah, I carry that sometimes. I'd be like, yo, I really did come from the school of rock, and then sometimes I have to watch it because I'd be like, yo, Jazz, you could say this. They not watching you. Like, okay. Like,
shout out to all the Rock Nation hats. When that dropped, it dropped way worse than COVID ever hit the streets. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the Rock Nation hats had everybody thinking, damn, are you a part of the Rock? Paper plane hat. Shout out to y'all.
It's so funny when I see them, I still be like, are you part of the Rock?
I see somebody tweet the other day, like, y'all, I just got out work at Rock Nation allegations. I made it. Like,
right. Oh shit, I love that. But you said something, you mentioned the word legacy as well too, Jazz, and we have to touch really quickly on Regina King's continuing the legacy of her son that passed away. As everybody know, Regina King has been going through the loss of her son to, I believe, unfortunately, suicide, and she's been grieving and doing the best that she can to cope with it, on top of still being a powerhouse. Regina King is one of my favorite actresses and just a person who is just so knee deep in the entertainment culture. Like, I mean, from the Boondocks, let's be honest, she is a king, she's a queen and a king. But she recently dropped a wine from her son. What's her son's name, Jazz? I'm sorry, I don't want to mispronounce it.
Ian,
yes. And the wine is called, what is it called again? Mina You?
Mm-hmm.
Mina You. I know the viral clip that's going around with the interviewer, what's his name, Scott Evans, where she's talking about this wine and grieving and just basically leaving a legacy. It is receiving so many good and positive responses because her grieving process is thinking about her loved one as present versus past. And I think for me, that is something that is really, really beautiful to see her continue not only her personal legacy, but create a legacy for her son through this wine and still wanting him to be present in the world. So I just thought that was an absolute beautiful interview, and just the fact that she's literally doing what she can to not only grieve and try to find, because I don't think when you lose somebody as close as a son or a parent or any one person that you really love, there's never a healing stage. You're never going to be healed completely, I want to say, but the healing process is not linear. It's forever. You're going to go through the ebbs and flows of grieving. So for her to utilize this as a way to not only help with her healing process, but also touch others, I think was a beautiful, beautiful thing. What you guys think?
I do too. I really do think too, after this particular interview, I think Scott Evans is about to hit a new level after this because, in my opinion, from somebody that went to school for journalism and has been seeing the journalism and communication landscape change over the years, that was a master class in being able to navigate a conversation without like amplifying somebody's grief and sorrow. More so kind of like managing it and kind of keeping joy at the center. I thought it was brilliant because we haven't really seen Regina King present as much, and it's almost like you can see her grief. It brings tears to my eyes because when I do see Regina King, or when she talks, it's almost you can feel like she lost something. But she still continues to show up, whether if it's behind the scenes with shows or scripts and things like that. But yeah, I think this Regina King interview with Scott Evans is also gonna like set him up for legacy as well. That's what I took away from it.
I totally agree. I think it was just handled so well, like the care that was taken in the conversation of just making sure that, they really gave her space to tell her story, gave her time to say what she wanted to say, what she didn't want to say. Like, I think that that's so important. I cannot even imagine as a parent losing a child before yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something that you never think that that's going to happen. And like to
Yeah.
be able to go on, like literally even go on with anything. And her obviously being the amazing multi-hyphenate creator that she is, like having to be public and having to speak and having to work and not just like crawling up in a ball is so admirable. So, I mean, I am definitely rooting for her. I definitely will be supporting, as I've always supported literally anything that has Regina King's name on it. But so happy for her that she's found something that, maybe just makes things feel a little bit lighter. It's never going to go away, but just something to be able to honor her son in that way, I think is so beautiful.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And if I ever was to meet her, I would tell her that my very, very favorite scene is when she whooped her cheating ass husband's ass in that movie. When she put the baby all on the floor and
Oh
started
my God.
whipping him like a slut. I said listen, that's one of my favorite movies and favorite scenes. But yes, shout out to the one and only Regina King. I do agree. She is, and it's crazy because, a lot of people don't look at celebrities as human beings for whatever reason, but she's still very much a human being. And I often think about having to go through the things, like you said, Michelle, in the public eye. Like there's no real rest for you. So the fact that she's able to find a pocket to have healing, especially in the public eye as well, is going to give so many people so much hope and light to also be able to grieve in whatever way that they feel. And I think for me, that's what I basically took away from it. It's like grieving somebody, you don't have to grieve their past. You can literally be very much so appreciating their presence as is. So I love that.
Yeah. Shout out to her role in Ray too. Just saying.
Yes.
Like
Stupid gal, but yes. I never understand. First of all, I always wanted to know, like, y'all let a blind man trick you like this? Like, this is crazy. Ain't no way. The way I would have been pinching him, man, stop playing with me, Ray. Stop motherfucking playing with me, Mr. Charles. Okay? Anyways. Now, before, I don't know if he was playing or not, I'm gonna be honest, because this has been a topic that's been on the timeline in some recent days. But apparently, Lil Nas X was seen just roaming around in the streets. Apparently, some people are saying he had a drug overdose. He also was arrested for police battery. Now, we know Lil Nas X does have some antics that he can do to try and promote music. But at the same time, we have to take serious mental health issues and, of course, drug use and things like that, which is very heavy in the industry culture. So I don't know exactly. I always want to wish the best for the situation and hope that, he is getting the help that he deservingly needs. But some people are also questioning if this is authentic or not because of his past antics. So people are trying to figure out if this is a rollout or if it is an actual crash out. And I think this would be a perfect kind of conversation to segue into just marketing, period, and the type of marketing that we have been exposed to. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any negative things to say about Lil Nas X. I think he's talented. His music is pretty cool, but definitely does have some antics that a lot of artists do. Let's be honest. A lot of artists play the antics game in trying to promote their music and things that they got going on. So I don't know. Do you guys think it was a rollout or was it an actual crash out?
I personally feel like he actually is struggling with something. Like, I will say, once his branding started to lean like a little demonic, it seemed like there was something a little off there. So it's not really giving rollout to me. And I will honestly say too, and it's no shade, but I also feel like the people who are kind of leading the conversation on it being a rollout and not necessarily giving him grace, or it's a little distasteful in my opinion.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I literally had the same conversation yesterday. Like, I was like, I was looking at his Instagram. Like, I saw somebody tweet the Lil Nas X video SMH, and I was like, what are they talking about? I hadn't seen the video yet. And before I went to go look for that video, I just went on his Instagram because I was like, yo, what has he been up to? Like, I feel like he's been a little quiet recently. Like, let me go check. And I'm scrolling through his feed, and I'm like, something about this just seems a little off, yo. I don't know what it is, but I definitely agree with you, Jan. Like, just over the past year or so, something just hasn't felt right. Like, when you just get a vibe, like just a spiritual thing. It's so hard to put your finger on. But I was like, yeah, I just feel like something's off. Like, I don't know if it's something that he's been exposed to, if it's something spiritual that he's dealing with, but something wasn't right. And then I went and looked at the video and I'm like, dang, man, and the thought did come to my mind. I'm like, okay, is this a stunt? Because we've seen so many things, but I was like, nah, something in my heart is telling me that this shit is real and that he's really dealing with something. And I do feel like people that kind of just jump to that conclusion and that's not right. It is pretty sad. And I mean, he's documented things that he's been dealing with over the past year too, like mentally and other stuff, and having to cancel festivals and performances. I do feel like we have to take artists' mental health a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, I just think I think it's unfortunate because it's almost as some people took it as like the boy who cried wolf a little bit. Like, that's kind of what it was feeling. And that's why I get so frustrated when our young Black, because Blackness here, we love that. When our young Black creator and artists get caught up in that, because I feel like it allows the world to finally say, hi, I don't have to give you grace either. Because our community has been saying, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always mindful of stuff like that. But to Michelle's point too, I think I went with my gut and my heart. When I first seen that video, I was like, oh no, something is off. I didn't get rollout. And I did think, what is he up to? Like, what is going on? Like, but it just did not give rollout. And then it made me just think about that. And again, I this is no shade to LA, did it for 5 years. There is something in LA though. If you ain't got your head on the swivel, I'll say this, you can fall into them smoke and mirrors that's out there. LA is dangerous. And I'm not saying dangerous in just a physical capacity. It's a mental, emotional, and spiritual way that you have to navigate LA, that if you don't, you are going to be caught up in a whirlwind of demonic destruction. And I've seen it.
And let's just be clear, it's Hollywood, not LA, because we know those that come to the West, we got the culture of LA that's knee deep, that doesn't involve in that. So when people come to LA, they automatically go to Hollywood and think this is all LA. No, we're not talking about the hoods and the culture of LA.
We're not talking about Hyde Park. Not talking about shout out to everybody in Leimert, Hyde Park. Don't come
You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about y'all. We know y'all the homies. You feel me? Y'all the
Oh
homies.
God.
But on their homies, Hollywood is fucked up.
Sit out the
It's a
floor.
fucked up place.
Y'all are
Okay.
stupid.
And I love an LA accent for real on Busters. But no, Hollywood definitely has and it's not even a coincidence that every time you go over there, it's some gloomy ass weather. It's just the overcast that it just feels heavy. It feels heavy. And I will admit, like when I first seen it happen, we was in the chat or whatever, and y'all mentioned it, and I was like, oh no, baby. I'll be honest. I was like, oh no, baby, that seems like a rollout. Cause that was immediately what I went to just based off of majority of the things that I seen Lil Nas X do was antics. And on top of that, his history of being one of the biggest bar pages and the trolling that he's done from that, like he has that stigma, if you will, of being a troll. So we don't know if it's real. We don't know if this is going to be something that potentially is going to come out with a video or whatever. But I think the important thing is to, which I would admit, like to take it seriously first and then be proven wrong. I would rather have been proven wrong to say, okay, well, maybe it wasn't a mental health, maybe it wasn't a stunt. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really his mental health that he's dealing with, and the things that he's dealing with are. But I know that it was true because they said that his parents, I believe they came out and they made a statement about him as well. So that's what kind of made people change their minds a little bit over if it was a rollout or not. But listen, prayers up to Lil Nas X and anybody that's in, this world of entertainment. I always tell people who ask me about, how do you get in? How do you get in? And I always say, there's no real way to get in my personal opinion. It's either you in it or you not. And I just feel like sometimes the way how you get in is not always the best way. You kind of got to conform. Not you have to. Some people conform to the ways of what they feel like they have to, conform to in order to be accepted. And I'm just glad there's a lot of us out here that are black sheep that don't mind being in the position of being a black sheep because at the end of the day, shit, I don't care what you do. I'm not doing that. And I stand on that. You got to have your own voice, your own thoughts and boundaries. As we've been saying, you have to have those boundaries. So prayers up to Lil Nas X and hopefully everything is definitely going to work out with him. But yeah.
Yeah, and as someone that was adjacent to like Hollywood, because I definitely, I live past the 10. Shout out to my past the 10 crew. And I had some friends who was above the 10 that was cool too. But I will say to that point that you just made is just like, no, it definitely does help and make for just a more fruitful experience for sure when you out there. Cause yeah, it ain't all of LA, but it's something going on.
Yeah. I feel that.
Especially that downtown Los Angeles. Woo, that is God.
Yeah.
Listen, I feel like every time I go there, I feel like it just feels demonic, like you said. I actually don't really like going downtown LA. If I don't have to go, I won't.
I feel that. Yeah, I'm staying in a hotel anytime I go. Or my homie house. I ain't going outside if it's downtown. I ain't going
for real. I'm not driving down there. Nope, I will swerve. Oh no.
Well, anyways, let's swerve on to really quick because we know that Michelle, you are very much so in the knee deep street marketing thing. You know what I'm saying? So we want to love to get your opinion because Mariah the Scientist and Teyana Taylor, they both released some R&B projects recently that are getting a lot of rave and great reviews. But one of the things that I feel like stood out with their plan was their marketing. The fact that Mariah the Scientist, she had the whole little cute army. You know what I'm saying? What was it? Was the little army thing in the streets? The same thing what Summer Walker was doing. She had like that whole little breaking the hard, like those that had to break the glass to try and get the hard drive. Teyana Taylor, she's doing like a meet and greet tour type of thing. I believe, Jazz, you said before she was doing like an escape room kind of thing. And my whole question would be like, is street marketing still a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely is. And I feel like it's definitely seeing a resurgence, but it's changing. I mean, obviously COVID changed up so much in terms of artists, try to connect with people and then try to market themselves in different ways and try to stand out from different people. But post COVID and like artists' desire to really like get back out there and get back in front of fans and get back in front of people has been really important. And I've seen a huge push for that. We actually have been working alongside with the Teyana team on a lot of stuff. So that's been dope. I'm actually going to DC tomorrow.
Hey, that's my girl beat. Yeah.
I mean, we got a very much so person that is a part of the team. Okay.
Yeah, yes. It's really dope to be able to work alongside Def Jam with that project. I mean, they've been doing a really amazing job, I think, of really leaving no stone unturned with the rollout. So we're going to Howard. We're pulling up. We're doing listening for the students. Tiana's gonna be there, so it's gonna be dope. It's dope when you see artists kind of really take that time to be with the people and be with new
Yes.
fans, and older fans alike. I really love that shit. I love when artists take the time to do stuff like that if they have the opportunity to do it. But street marketing, it's definitely back. I feel like labels are really trying to find different ways to hone in on fan communities.
Yes. Brands in general.
Yes.
They all are. Mhm.
Yeah, like that's huge. That's been the buzzword of the year.
Yep.
Fan communities, audience development. Like, how do we find different ways to connect with these people on and offline? Like, finding ways to get fans in mutual spaces, finding places for them to interact with one another, build their own communities, from that. We're definitely from the era, obviously, of like the emergence of fan pages, like, when people was or people back in our day, and that shit has grown to new heights. What I will say is, like, I think labels definitely have to be careful with kind of just letting it be more organic and having a life of its own, while obviously still being there to amplify and support. But I feel like the fans have definitely been able to clock, like real fans have been able to clock, like, oh, this some label shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
not
For
us.
sure.
Like, this is not us. This is 100% some label shit. I actually came across something really interesting. The street marketing stuff, a lot of it is the same, but it's changed a little bit, I will say. But generally, I will say it is very reminiscent of street marketing like 10 years ago. Digital marketing, though, the new tactics and stuff that the labels are coming up with, I be like, wow, like, this is some crazy shit. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of like flooding campaigns.
Yeah.
No, what is that?
Yo, I recently got put onto this literally in a label meeting where they were breaking it down for us of like, what they're doing to seed out music. So, I mean, obviously we know that with TikTok and social media, the one word that always comes up, especially with music, is oversaturation. There's so much content, people's attention spans are shorter, like, we're just trying to get in front of these people as much as possible. So I think that whole like culture has spawned something with a flooding campaign, which essentially is like, there are these agencies that own like 10,000 accounts on TikTok, 20,000 accounts on TikTok that post a variety of different random shit. But essentially, like, labels will pay these agencies to flood accounts with cut downs of performances or interviews, just content from the artists that they're working with, sometimes posting like 5,000 to 10,000 times a day.
Whoa.
For one artist.
So, you say that, then, okay, you just bust my brain, because even on freaking X, well, I don't know why I said X. Wow. Elon, get out my brain, you damn picklehead. Anyway, Twitter.
Yes.
I see that myself with different fan pages. And I felt like recently, within the last, I don't know, just me paying attention, I just feel like there's been such an influx of fan pages that are doing exactly what you're talking about. Like, it's been insane. And now that you say that, that makes so much sense that this would be a quote unquote label tactic to try and promote the artist even more, you would say?
Yeah, I mean, to promote, but honestly, like, sometimes it's really just keeping their name, in
Relevant.
That's what I was about to
Yes.
say too. That's another thing. What it is too, Michelle. It's the name. It's like anything I can do to keep the media consumption around this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep flooding. I'm gonna pay that account. I'm actually going to not only pay that account, I'm going to take their account and then put paid advertising dollars. So now I've got double the pay going on. Like it is sick. Sorry.
Yeah. And that's the question for me because I'm like, all right, if the goal is just exposure and just like putting this artist in front of as many people as possible, what's the end goal? Like, because that shit doesn't mean that shit goes back to streaming.
It's not moving the needle, and that's
It
why you
does,
gotta
like,
be
does it
intentional.
translate to ticket sales, merch? Does
Yep,
it translate to actual dollars? Like, it's
Right.
cool to be viral online, which we've also seen with the whole viral thing of TikTok. Like, you blow up on TikTok, and it's like, okay, you're already signing $1 million+ deal, blah 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 blah. But it doesn't translate, or it doesn't stay long. It doesn't stick as long. So I kind of agree. And I also would ask, like, do you think it could potentially hurt the artist versus actually benefiting them? Because some people can become fatigued from seeing the same artist. Because I've seen it personally, just speaking with my own artists. It's like everyone is like, oh my gosh, why are we always constantly seeing Doechii all the time? And it's like, well, for me, I call it marketing. Of course, her team is doing a great job of keeping her name, in these things. On top of her being talented, it just makes sense. So it's like a perfect combination, where the talent is speaking for itself. So when we do have the sold out shows and the festivals and all those great things, it's like, okay, we know it's not just that. We know it's actual people that really support her, love her, and want to see her. They're going to pay the dollars to see her. But could it potentially hurt other artists? Because speaking of Tyler, she's been a very big topic.
I was
Just,
gonna mention Tyler.
you know what I'm saying? And just the fact that she has several, I mean, is an influence. I've seen more of her fan pages than I've seen any other fan pages recently. And I don't know if they're trying to like scrub whatever it is. They're not even scrub, but you know what I'm saying? Change the narrative. Let's just say that. Change the narrative of what people are talking about. So I don't know. Do you think it could potentially hurt the artist more than benefit them? Or does it depend on a case by case situation?
Yeah, I think it definitely depends case by case. I really feel like it's also like what are they seeding? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it pink lady type stuff? Because then I feel like, which I've seen, and like I feel like that could definitely hurt. Like, I feel like it's good for the artist's name to be in conversation. It's good for people, younger generations to know of the artist. But what do they know them for? Like, do they know them for just being like a meme? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. What's the story?
yeah, like what narrative are we building around this artist? I feel like, people kind of have to go back to the drawing board with that piece specifically because I'm just like, you don't want to get it to a place where like your artist becomes a joke. Like your artist is a joke on social media because of the type of content and stuff that's being pushed out in front of masses and masses, thousands of people that are interacting with this content. I'm like, I feel like we got to bring back some level of, and I mean, a lot of artist teams have done it so well of building out a narrative and a story around an artist that fans really care about. But I also don't think that this is really doing a great job of building fans either. That's why I'm just like, it's newer and it's so interesting. I'm really still like trying to grasp my head around it and what this means for digital marketing going forward. But honestly, like I don't feel like it's going away. So I'm interested to see like how it transforms and how it changes like over the next year or so, because I definitely feel like it could either hurt or help depending on, how the label really handles it.
Mm. I think this is also a great way to dive into some more amazing questions we got for you, Michelle. If the people listening haven't caught on yet, like we brought a gem to the condo today. Okay, her feet is kicked up. We got my girl Snacks. Okay, her baby girl is taken care of too. Okay, we got all that. Okay, because we aunties too. Okay.
Hello.
But because of that, I wanted to we're talking about so many different things, but I think at the core of what we're talking about too is, like just hip hop culture. And Michelle, I know you are a huge advocate, woman of hip hop, child of hip hop. And before we get into like some of the key topics we have for you, because we want to discuss like boundaries and things like that, but I think it's really important for the people to know when you fell in love with hip hop.
Oh my gosh, wow. That is I love that question. Yeah, definitely hip hop head forever, always have been. I definitely think it was I don't even know what year it was at this point, but I grew up with such different music cultures around me. In my immediate household, I grew up with a lot of my Puerto Rican side of the family. So, cleaning the house on Sunday, it definitely was salsa, bachata, merengue, all the hits, all the classics. Shout out to all the New Yorkers. Um, right? My mother was very diverse with her music taste. I mean, she used to listen to classic rock, tons of pop, dance, EDM, even like trance music, like ambient beats and stuff. Like it was super diverse. Like when I sit back and think on her music taste, I'm like, damn, like she was cooking actually. Like she has some really good, really good music taste that I wouldn't have been put on to otherwise. But my dad was, born and raised in New York, all hip hop, all rap. He played old Jay-Z album, like Jay-Z's first albums and in the car for us and tons of New York legends, tons of New York rappers and hip hop artists. And I really fell in love with it. And I literally remember being in the backseat of my dad's car with my brother, like rapping PSA word for word. And it was really like that first exposure for me with him, just listening to his music in the car, listening to Nas and listening to Mobb Deep and listening to even Big Pun and everybody that he was rocking with. Definitely New York rap, New York hip hop for sure. But that was the first time I fell in love with it. I never left it. I always champion hip hop in the industry, hip hop artists. Like I definitely will always be the one to be like, don't say no crazy shit about hip hop, not in front of me. Like,
I feel that. I feel that.
look,
No, facts. That's so real. That's so real, Michelle. Like you really are. And we got another Puerto Rican princess here too. We got
The
two
Puerto Rican princess.
we got two Puerto Rican princesses here. And to that point, another thing y'all both have in common is this love for Jersey. And I'm curious to know, Michelle, like how has your hometown like inspired your career path? And Jan, if you have any insight to that too, with y'all both being from Jersey.
oh yeah, Jersey people are so funny. We're so fucking annoying when we talk about Jersey nonstop. But yeah, I was born and raised here. I went to Rutgers in New Brunswick. I literally talk about Jersey all the time. Have y'all seen that Phil Murphy, the Jersey Club song where he's like, "We're from Jersey, baby, and you're not." I, I literally need to make that my ringtone. But I mean, Jersey was so interesting because it's so, it borders New York. I spent so much time in New York. My mom, my grandma, my aunt, so many people worked in the Bronx when I was growing up. So I was constantly going back and forth, over the George Washington Bridge, having that exposure to New York, but then also kind of coming back to Jersey. I love the opportunity that it afforded me to do both, like have like my little backyard and my friends on the block and that type of vibe was great, and then being able to have that exposure to the city too, so many different cultures. It's super diverse. I'll never take that for granted, of just being able to grow up with people that look like me, but then also being able to see all types of people, from all different walks of life. I felt like that was super dope. Very diverse musically. Like I was saying, like, oh, I grew up listening to everything because there was so many different types of people around me, which I'm so thankful for. But yeah, I just love it. I feel like it has a little bit of everything. I definitely am like New Jersey state ambassador. Like if they ever want to bring me on to do that shit, I will wave the flag proudly. I will be at whatever festival they want me to be, telling people how much I love the state of New Jersey. It was great for me. I was able to hop on the train and go over to the city, but I could come back. Like I could pop in, I could pop out. I love New York. I lived in Brooklyn for a few years, and that was such an amazing experience, but I just feel like I always come back.
I
I
love that.
love
And I think
that.
for me, it's like similar to you. A lot of my career opportunities kind of came more so from New York. I think one of the critiques I've always had of Jersey, and it's not necessarily Jersey's fault because it's not really much of an industry structure here. But it was really hard to navigate Jersey and find opportunities that made sense for the career I was looking for. So everything I had to do was in New York. So I always say, like, in the career sense, New York actually raised me, but I always, like, I'm from Jersey. Don't ever get that fucked up.
Right.
And then that, and that's always because people would love to put you in a New York box if you there all the time. It's like,
No, for real. I love that.
no.
And I'm the same about Cleveland. Like, 'cause I feel like some people have seen me navigate over the years, and it's like, you know, Brooklyn made, Brooklyn paid, Cleveland raised. Hold on.
Period. So I guess in essence, it's like I couldn't necessarily credit Jersey to anything career wise, because it was really hard for me to find ways to incorporate anything that was happening in Jersey with what I was doing. I will say there was a short period in my career where I was doing a playlist for Audio Mac called Jersey Hometown Heroes. I was
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, like it was just all genres of Jersey music, and every week we would update it. So I tried to incorporate Jersey in that way, but outside of that, it definitely, I think to this day, like there's a lot of panels where the conversations are around like how do we develop infrastructure around the entertainment industry in Jersey and like really just putting each other on. It's been an ongoing conversation for years, so it's kind of just like it just got to a point where it's just like I recognize the things I'm trying to do just don't necessarily exist here. And they're in New York, so you kind of got to go where this stuff is. And I think that's also what made me move to LA for a little bit, because I felt like, well, it's not really working in New York, so maybe I need to try LA. It didn't work in LA. I came back and it worked out in New York eventually. So again, like, and it's never any shade to Jersey. I love Jersey down. But I will honestly say, like, for me, career wise, it didn't really happen to me in Jersey, but I'm always repping.
That's so. I'm really glad you said that. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I definitely felt like I always needed to go to New York for professional opportunities specifically, but I would love for that to change because I feel like there's so many people now moving from New York to New Jersey. Like, you know, you see,
Yeah. And I saw that I think Netflix is building a headquarters in
yes,
Jersey
girl,
too. That's gonna change the
yes.
game for
I heard about that too.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be phenomenal when I think about like just like the different studios and people not feeling like they gotta go to LA or even go to Atlanta now because we're seeing more studios be built in Atlanta. So I think
There's
it's
definitely a shift happening with the entertainment where LA is not considered the number one entertainment hub anymore. It's definitely transitioning from New York, Chicago. Even don't sleep on Chicago now. Okay. Chicago, a lot of well, didn't 50 Cent try to open a studio what was it, in Detroit or something like that? Like, yeah, there's different different sectors of the entertainment are being bred in different areas, which honestly it will benefit the people more, to be honest, because not everybody want to go to LA to chase their dreams with only $2 in a bank account. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you could chase it right in your backyard. So I feel that.
Okay. No, that reminds me of somebody said last night, you know, I'm not a champagne nigga with ketchup pockets. Like somebody said that last out there, yo, that's some real ass shit. Like, no, for real.
That is some niggaism for you. Okay. But Michelle, I want to dive into, because for me personally, I feel like as we spoke about earlier too, us also being in the industry and having to balance, you know, so many different things. And then on top of that, we're women. You know, you're also a mother. How do you balance your mental health when it comes to being in this industry, as well as just having to clock out and just be yourself? How do you balance that?
Oh man, yeah, it is. It's tough. Like, it's definitely a learning process throughout the way of just like trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. I'm like, okay, like, you know, you could have a limited PTO, but sometimes you really can't take the unlimited PTO. Like, you be like, damn, when I come back, I'm about to be in hell. Like, I'm about to have 2 weeks of work to do, like, just because decided to take off 4 days. So it really is like, it's a game. Like, you got to play the game sometimes. You have to really kind of learn how to maneuver and find pockets for yourself. I find different little things, like taking moments for myself has definitely really been crucial during the day. Like, really just to kind of reset my nervous system sometimes, because I'm like, you know, when you're in certain spaces where people are just very high strung and stressed, and that could rub off on you. And I really do my best to like not bring that shit home with me.
Ooh, yes.
Like, I think that's really important of just kind of like, being able to sit, breathe, meditate. I'm a big proponent of like quick, easy meditation, moments to myself where I really just like kind of uncheck out, like check out, close my laptop, close my phone, get in a really a space of like just kind of zenning out for a minute, especially before I go home and interact with my daughter, who's 2.5. I'm like, yeah, like I don't want her to see me as her mother was like always, stressed out and tired. Like that's not the picture that I want my daughter to have of me. Like she's so excited when I come home. So I want to reciprocate that. Like I want to be in a place where I'm like, I have the energy to play, for 2 hours, however long she wants to play with me, because I know there's gonna be one day where she's gonna be like, Mom, please go away. Like, what?
Leave me alone. You're
Yeah.
annoying.
Like,
Yes,
you are
girl.
annoying me. Like, you're in my space. So now where she like, Mom, will you play with me? I never say no. I never say no. And I
Oh,
actually
I love
just
that.
recently read was it Shonda's book, Year of Yes?
Ooh, yes, that's a good one.
It was really, really great because, she talked about that. Obviously, Shonda did friggin' ran TV for, she had, when her Grey's scandal, How to Get Away with Murder era, like, she was killing it. And she was talking about how hard it was balancing all of that and being a mother. I actually didn't even know that she was a mother before reading the book. And she had 2 daughters. And she said, like, when she would come home, she didn't care what it was. Like, she would clock out. Like people would try to be reaching her at 9 p.m. She would be like, nope, like this is my time for my family. If my kids say they want something, like she had a rule. She was like, if my kids come up to me and say, Mom, will you do this with me? Will you paint with me? Will you play with me? She would always say yes. And I've taken that. I've taken that from her. And, because it can be really easy. Obviously, we know music never sleeps. Like you can get hit up at 7 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. to do some shit. I was dealing with shit yesterday. Like you can't really be in control of that, but I can definitely take moments where I'm just like, nope, not right now. You know what I mean? Like I feel like people in other industries have more of a clear cut, like, demarcation where they could be like, all right, like 5 p.m., like I'm done. Like nobody's talking to me. For me, can't really do that because I'm like, if some shit got to get done, it's got to get done eventually, but I can dictate kind of when and how that happens. And I've definitely learned that. I've learned how to do that. I've definitely, been more intentional about the quality of time that I'm spending with my family and with my daughter because I know that those are things that she's going to remember and hold on to.
But you're so good at it though. Like I know that people listening don't be like, she just keeps saying she's good at it. No, I'm telling y'all, you have to see it in action. Like Michelle is literally a beast at a beauty and a beast at navigating it. So which lets me like want to go into the next question because we are also lover girls here, just saying. We are corporate baddies and we do our one too, but we love as well. And Miss Thing, aside from being, incredible at setting boundaries and work, you're also an amazing wedding planner and a beautiful bride, I must say.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I've talked about on the podcast before, but we actually have Michelle here. I would love to know, how not only you navigate boundaries in love and marriage, if you want to go there, but how in the hell did you deliver one of the best hip hop weddings I have ever been to in my life? How? I need the information, everything.
It was, I'm a creative at heart. I definitely always knew. I laugh all the time thinking back on it because I was always horrible at anything math related, any STEM. I was like, oh hell no. Like my parents kept me in math tutoring, and I always would tell them like, yeah, yo, I promise you, like I don't know what I'm gonna do one day, but I guarantee you that it will not require anything that I can't do on my calculator. And they will always be like, well, that's too bad. Like you got to learn. But like, I really was always just drawn to creative fields, creative industry. So when I knew I was getting married, I'm like, ah, shit. Okay. I'm putting on my creator hat, my event planner hat. I feel like in another world. I was an event planner. I love doing that shit. I mean, I'm definitely the person in my friend group that I'm like, let me plan this for you. Let me plan your, like they're not excited about their birthday or something. I'm like, what do you mean you're not excited about it?
Yes, same.
I'm like, of course you're celebrating your birthday. Like, I will literally plan it. I'll find the
Same.
venue, I'll find the DJ, I'll find the caterer, like whatever you want to do. Like, I love that type of stuff. So when it came to my wedding, I definitely was super intentional about the details and telling my story, telling our love story. We met in New York. We met at a bar. We were both really big into music. At that time, I worked at UMG. I was an assistant, and he just so happened to work like 3 blocks down from me at CBS in TV. But just talking to him and hearing his mind with music, I was like, damn, this is the first time I met somebody that put me on the shit. I'm like, I'm usually the one putting people on the shit. What the hell? And learning about his background, like, his dad worked for the Source magazine and ran a Southern hip hop magazine. And I was like, wow, like, this is crazy. I never felt like I would meet somebody that matched and surpassed my love for music and hip hop specifically. So yeah, I knew that we had to tie it in a number of different ways. We got married in a music venue. Surprise, surprise.
That's hard. That's hard.
Okay, it is hard.
Thank you. I mean, and I'm grateful it worked out because New York is freaking expensive, especially for weddings. So when we came across this one, and I just so it happened to, like, I've gone to shows there before. It was a music hall, Williamsburg in Brooklyn, and we came across the venue, and I was like, oh shit, the price is right. I'm like, we locking in. Like, this is it. I'm like, we're doing this. Like, I just knew with my wedding, I'm like, when you're planning a wedding, you really don't want to leave feeling like regret. You don't want to feel leaving like, damn, like, I really wanted to do this, but I did this for somebody else or for another reason or whatever. So that's something that I really was on top of. So yeah, it was a process. Wedding planning is not for the weak. I'm like, that is like a part-time job, especially like if unfortunately, I'm not the type of person that can just relinquish creative control and be like, you do it. I did have a really great partner with our event coordinator. Shout out to Lemon Lab Events and Barrio Press. They were so amazing. I really just taking my vision and amplifying it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to be the one to actually find all the pieces. Like, I really just crafted out, like, aesthetically what I wanted it to look like, certain little touches and shit. And they ran with it. True professionals. Love that. That was amazing. But, being able to work with the team was important. But it was great. Honestly, would do it again if I could.
And I would come again. And I would be there again, okay?
What was a song that you guys had your first dance to?
Oh, we danced to Leon Bridges. That is absolutely our guy. Also someone that my husband put me on to, River. So River, Leon, it always was so sentimental for us. Every time I would hear that song, I would just cry. Like, I was like, this song is so emotional. I love that man, Leon, and it was a really special moment.
I love that.
Girl, I was crying. Do you remember when I first seen you? I didn't know what to do. It's like if one of my sisters here would get married. It's like I seen much, like, after the wedding, like, it was time to, like, everyone, like, and shout out to the way y'all had it set up. Like, you had the upstairs, he had like the downstairs. And when I seen you, like, when I was able to finally, like, hug my friend, I just bust in tears. I just burst out crying. I almost fell to my kneecaps.
Oh, y'all were trying to get me to mess up my damn makeup. I was like, no. I already done balled my eyes out. I'm like, I paid good money for this makeup. It's gotta stay on.
But no, thank you for giving all of us, like, who were there, like, a memory that's gonna last a lifetime. Like, I'm gonna tell that wedding to my kids, and then you're gonna be in the room to be able to tell them too. So
I love that.
So sweet.
I love the alignment, the union, the way how everything just happened for you all. It's such a beautiful thing to hear. It gives us chief lover girls over here some real hope that, the possibilities are truly endless. And I feel like you just was in it. You didn't do anything but just be present, and everything just came to you. And I love, love, love that for you. So it was such a pleasure to hear this amazing story about not only your career and the insight of motherhood and just being a human being. We thank you for everything that you have contributed to this podcast. We are so grateful for your presence presence and your words and your gems. I know the people going to love this because you said some really, really great things that people are definitely going to take with them. So personally, just want to say thank you for everything that you have contributed to the culture and being the culture, and also to this Reasonable Dialogue podcast. We thank you.
Thank y'all so much. I had such a good time. Definitely let me know if y'all ever want me to come back to the condo. I'll be back.
Of course,
That was great.
girl.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yes. And before we go, right, we got to get into our favorite segment of the podcast. The set list, okay, where we give you guys our personal set list of things that we have been either listening to, watching, eating, educating ourselves on. The set list is so extensive. It literally is one of my favorite segments. So I think it's only right that we let our guest, Michelle, go first so she can get it off on her set list. And then, of course, Jan, you know, you going to go first because I never go first. And that's just the way we do it here, okay?
Yeah, I definitely have a few things. I definitely have had Alfredo 2 on repeat. On repeat. Love that album, man. Love Freddie Gibbs in general, his music. I mean, all his work has been amazing, but I think this collaboration, I mean, his continued collaboration with The Alchemist has been just chef's kiss. Like, it is really unmatched. Also, that upcoming album that Alchemist got with Erica, I'm waiting. I am impatiently waiting for that to drop.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of documentaries that I actually watched recently that I think are just so amazing, and I feel like not enough people know about them. One's called Nomadland. It actually was nominated for a lot of awards. Came out in 2020. It's on Amazon Prime. But it's basically tells a story about a woman who is really just finding herself. Like, she is unemployed, but she's kind of just living on her own and meeting people in different unexpected places and kind of just feeling her way out through life. And the moral of it is really just finding happiness in little things. I think it's really an amazing watch. Another one was Slice of Life, is The American Dream in Former Pizza Huts, which is also on Amazon Prime. Definitely check that out. My assistant, Atara, has a song called Self Care that I listen to every fucking day.
Girl.
It's so good. On streaming platforms, I definitely would tell everybody to peep that. Men I Trust last album. First of all, they dropped 2 albums, which was freaking phenomenal. But Equus Calibus by Men I Trust, that's been like my hyperfixation, calm down album. Like, I got that thing on repeat at work. And last thing for me right now is, speaking on the New Jersey tip, like we were earlier, I actually started a platform called Connect New Jersey, where, we highlight different events and, movers and shakers in Jersey and people that are really trying to build up the culture here and connect to the community here of people that are doing stuff for our people. So that's something that I've really been excited about.
Love it. Love it. Okay,
I guess
Jan.
on my set list, so the homie Kamari finally released his sophomore album To Dry. It's here. I love the Frank Ocean comparisons, but I wish everybody would just let him shine on his own. This is not Frank Ocean. They are 2 different people. But definitely shout out to Kamari. The album is amazing. He also has a couple shows coming up, so if you have not seen him live yet, definitely check him out at one of his shows. Kent Jams also dropped a single called Patience. I really, really love that single. It's been on repeat on my rotation. Devin Culture also returned this week with another single called Slow It Down. He hasn't actually been in the mix in a minute, so it was really dope hearing this new single of his because it sounds a lot like, granted, he was always amazing, but this single is like really, really elevated from his previous music. He's from Philly. Shout out to Philly. Daniel Caesar. It's interesting because Daniel Caesar has actually been a point of conversation this week on social media since he released his last single, Call On Me, which is also very good. I personally am on the side of I'm not really jacking the cancellation anymore. It's kind of tired because he didn't really do anything that is that cancelable in my opinion. We can get over it. But that's another topic for another day. Nali is another artist that I've been watching. She just released her album, I Love Nali. Make sure y'all check that out. Shout out to her team. Teyana Measure 9 returned with a new single called Shook One that I really love. And then some couple other things. I'm in DC currently, so I went to this restaurant, Mexican restaurant. It was really, really good. Highly recommend, called La Chiquita Taqueria. So good. I got a asada bowl from them. They have like literally everything you could think of on their menu, and all of it, like, because all the girls I went with, we all got different things, and everything was really, really good. It was super well priced. And the last thing, speaking of legacy, shout out to Derrick Rose. His #1 jersey is going to be retired on January 24th, 2026 during the post-game ceremony. I'm definitely going to try to get out there to Chicago to see that game and watch the ceremony. For those who know me, I am diehard Derrick Rose fan. I literally bought my first TV just to watch him play when I was in college. He did incredible things throughout his career for the Bulls franchise, and I feel like they've been lost since they traded him. And that was a long time ago, so that speaks a lot to his legacy for that franchise. But yeah, shout out to Derrick Rose. And yeah, if y'all are in Chicago, make sure y'all pull up. And that's my set list.
Hey, shout out to the Midwest. But yeah, I'm so excited. I saw that Derrick Rose too and instantly was like, that's so amazing. I am going to get into my set list. So first on my set list, Savage Fenty collection by Rihanna just released a new set called City Kitty. It's basically like their boldest and one of their baddest drops yet. And like I just think it's really hot. I think Rihanna has been doing a lot of like collabs through Savage Fenty and Puma recently that people kind of been sleeping on, but it's actually pretty dope. So shout out to the new City Kitty collection. I want to get into that. Issa Rae is about to drop another book that's a follow-up to the Misadventures of Aqua Black Girl. It's a collection of essays, and it's going to be called I Should Be Smarter Now. So shout out to my Capricorn sister. I will be diving into that and just seeing where Issa Rae's mind is since the Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, because so much has happened since then, like she's literally become like a cultural phenomenon for us. So that's one thing. On the documentary tip, Magic City, an American Fantasy is finally out. I have been waiting for this documentary to drop because I will always argue and debate that strippers are actually some of the best A&Rs we have in the culture. And this documentary specifically chronicles just Atlanta's hip hop scene and clubs and the influence that like strippers and dancers have had with music. So shout out to them. It's on Stars. We were discussing rollouts earlier, and I gotta give it to the girl. Wasn't really in the trenches with her before, but I got my soldier hat on. Mariah the Scientist, that damn United Nations. That United Nations plus 1,000 Ways to Die, baby girl, is on repeat. I want that song to be longer. The pen was penning with that one. You got me, girl. I need my toy soldier immediately. Plus, I really love Pink, so I just think the rollout is amazing. And a shout out to Ayana at Epic, who is just, also Rock Nation legacy. She's been killing it. So I love that. Tiana Taylor also dropped as well. Yes. And I will say the record with Tasha Smith. Shout out to Tasha Smith. Marcus, for those who don't know, that's Tasha. But she's on the album, and the song Back to Life has been standing out to me from Tiana Taylor's project. So I got that on the set list. I also got, again, we was talking about the Midwest. Yo, I thought Zeddy Will had this song, but it's actually Chief Keef. So, and DJ Mustard. So the Baby Girl Shake That trend. I've been doing that. I'm obsessed with that song. I love it. And then lastly but not least, next week is Labor Day weekend. So get your Juve celebrations out there. I need everybody with their flags because we're going to be at More Bob's Please. I am outside. They have an amazing lineup. They have amazing hosts. It's going to be all day till like 4 a.m. And then the next day is Labor Day. We on the float. Anybody going to be on the float with me? Are we doing that this year? I don't even know if I'm doing it. I'm just talking right now, but.
If you do it, I'll do it with you.
Yeah, okay, we outside.
I'm outside.
We outside then. So yeah, next weekend, Labor Day, More Vibes Please. We outside, Industry City, Brooklyn, 6 p.m. to like 4 in the morning. I won't be there all day, but I will be there at night shaking ass. So just saying. Pass it to my sis.
All right, y'all. So for my set list, music that I've been listening to, it's a viral song on TikTok that I personally love by the artist or band Pierce The Veil, they have a song called So Far So Fate. The little guitar break, ooh, that's the part that's been going viral, but the song is pretty dope. Kalia, am I saying it right? Kalea, all the way down. Been listening to that personal album, but that one song definitely hit on my rotation recently. I was like, ooh, sis never eats down. Speaking of The Alchemist and Erica Badu, definitely Next to You was a song that I heard too. That I was like, okay, I am excited for what we are going to experience when it comes to this. I do hope she does a show, because I would love to go see it. I think that's a reasonable dialogue trip we should take. Larry June and Cardo Got Wangs. I love this song with him and Don Toliver called 100 Bags. Skilly Bang and Young Nudie. Okay, they dropped a song called Big Strap. I love that song. And I actually love the fact that he has Young Nudie on it. I think it's like a very perfect combination. I'm not even gonna lie. Joe K, of course, he had dropped a project a while ago that I believe I mentioned, but one song that has been on rotation for me, I'm gonna put on my set list, is called Slow It Down with Cruiser and Isaiah Falls. I think Isaiah Falls, number one, is an artist that people should really be looking out for even more. I think his music is dope. Shout out to Icy Red, his DJ and producer as well. But they definitely have some dope vibes going on with the music, and I appreciate his voice. I really do. Malaya, if I'm saying her name right, I believe she is, I don't know if she's Jamaican or not, but I've always loved her. Her music, her little singles that she would be dropping. She dropped a project called Lover Girl, very heavy Caribbean influence. Like, I have to check her roots out for sure, but I've been feeling this project from her. Gunna, okay, let's be honest here. We know who the real one is, okay? Shout out to the last one. I've been listening to Gunna's project as well too. Say, I love that song. We gonna fuck tonight. We gonna fuck tonight. I love the fact that he actually had the African artist features like Burna Boy and Asake and Wizkid on it. I could already tell you where he's trying to go with that. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Wanna. I know people were saying that it sounds very repetitive, but I just think that's gonna sound. And when you have a sound, you just go with it and it works with it. You know what I'm saying? It works. It works.
Yeah.
It works.
If it ain't broke, come on.
Why fix it? You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's literally like, now, I'm not gonna lie, 25 songs is a little bit excessive. You know what I'm saying? But if he would have cut it down to like a good, like, 12 to 15, he will have like a complete flawless project, in my personal opinion, because there was at least in a few skips for me. But the strong songs that I really like was like one, Won't Stop, Made for This Shit, Satisfaction, Forever Be Mine, We Gonna Fuck Tonight, Prototype, At My Purest. I did like that song.
At My Purest is the one. I'm sorry.
I did like it. And Sac Passe, I love that song, definitely. Geneva, I love Geneva. Her whole entire album. Is it, how you say it, Chrysalis or something like that? I don't know, y'all. You know,
her name is Genevieve. I'm like, Genevieve.
Oh, okay, Genevieve. You know I'm dyslexic, y'all. I see things different. Yeah, her project, however you say it, I love it very much so. I remember you said last week too, I believe you mentioned the Amours, Jan, on for your set list. I tapped into their project.
Yes.
Chef's
Girl.
fucking kiss. Ooh.
Period.
Period. Chef's fucking kiss. And shout out to my good brother Camper. He definitely produced one of the songs on the project. I believe it's Prove, if I'm not, or The Game. One of these songs he definitely produced on it. So shout out to him for it. But Girls Will Be Girls, love that. Dijon. Am I saying it right? Is it Dijon? Like Dijon mustard?
It's Dijon, yeah, you had that right.
Okay. Boom. Very different vibes. Like, he gives me, I don't want to say folklore or however you say that genre, but he gives me like, it's a very, you have to have that type of taste for him, a very special taste for him. But I did personally enjoy his album, Baby. Kind of Love, My Man, Yamaha, Another Baby were definitely some vibes that I personally enjoyed. And I'm gonna put SpongeBob and Arthur, because last night I was on my TikTok and I was going through, like, you know, we decided that, and we already knew that Arthur was Jamaican. And the characters, like, figuring out where they was from. We had a whole fun thing on my TikTok live about that, so it made me want to watch Arthur and SpongeBob. Just to let y'all know, Patrick is a black man, SpongeBob is a white man. Yeah, we had like fun like that on my TikTok live. But definitely tapping into those shows, because you got to feed your little child, the inner child in you sometimes. So I do believe in going back and watching certain things and doing certain things. And also, I'm gonna add my brand new Lego set. I do love doing and building Lego sets as a little pastime. You got to get into hobbies that don't need monetization. You don't got to make money off of this shit. Don't always got to be content. Some shit just got to be do for the love of it. And that's the type of things that I'm trying to do and implement more into my life. Just doing things because I actually love to do it, and I don't need to put it out on the internet or feel like I need to make money from it. So that is my personal set list. And of course, I'm always add it. Make sure you guys get the tickets if you can to Live from the Swamp tour. Sold out. Special announcements coming soon, but definitely gonna add my Good Sisters tour on that, because we are about to go back on the road again for the very Alligator Bites Never Heal Grammy Award winning mixtape. Hello, somebody. And that is my set list for the week.
Wow. Wow. What a fun day at the condo.
Yes.
Michelle, you was in here.
I'm talking about it.
Thank y'all for having me. I gotta go put my shoes back on, but that was
Tell
time.
us,
Great time
where
with
can they
y'all.
follow you? Where can they follow you? What can
Yes.
they follow for you? Anything.
Oh, yes. I actually have Mish Mills. It's my Instagram, MEESHMILLZ, honoring my new last name,
Hey.
having been recently wed. And the page that I mentioned earlier, Connect New Jersey, it's KINNECTNJ. So anybody that lives in Jersey or wants to know more stuff that's happening in our beautiful little garden state for the people, definitely follow a lot of amazing things coming up soon.
I love that. Love that. And thank you once again for being a part of episode 14. Is it now? Episode 14.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay. This is the Reasonable Dialogue podcast. I go by the name of DJ Miss Milan.
Jan Sneed.
It's your girl, Jazz.
And we'll see you next time. Go ahead, Jan. Do your famous ending. Go ahead. Get it in. Get it in.
Get it out the way, Puerto Rican
Y'all
princess.
ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the fuck out of here.
Bye, y'all. See y'all next time.
What's up, world? It's your girl, Jazz.
It's your girl, DJ Miss Milan.
And it's your girl, Jan Sneed. Thank you guys for tapping into another episode of the Reasonable Dialogue podcast. Thank you guys for tapping in every week and spending time with your favorite girls at the condo. We really, really appreciate the love you guys pour into us. And if you're rocking with the conversations, make sure you follow us on all socials. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Reasonable Dialogue. And be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, like, tell a friend to tell a friend, and be sure to stay reasonable.